Heat is on in Chicago in Power Book IV, 4th Season 2 Episode 7. For a while now, Tommy and the other person have been on borrowed time. Tommy was playing with fire the moment he started making flirtatious comments to Mireya. Furthermore, he has become even more in love with Miguel's younger sister and has disregarded her concerns in order to maintain their relationship. Consequences and all. They had managed to keep their connection under wraps from everyone on the streets up until Power Book IV, 4th Season 2 Episode 7. But their good fortune eventually ran out. Was Jenard doing anything specific? Forever and ever, Jenard will be a chaotic, drama-loving man. And I could respect them for delving into the true impacts of drug misuse and highlighting Jenard's ongoing withdrawal symptoms and cravings. But I did not appreciate his random plan to kill Tommy. Because, you know, that's what he was going to do. He appeared to have let Raheem to enter his thoughts as he prepared himself while sitting outside Tommy's house. Was Raheem justified in feeling frustrated by the seeming turn for the worse they'd made? Sure. However, treason wasn't an option, and Jenard had put himself in an impossible situation when he split from Diamond. And with treason, he fell short. The only choice was to join CBI since attempting to kill Tommy without a strategy in place would have been disastrous. I'm confident of that. He was therefore fortunate to see Tommy and Mireya together and abandon his plan. For the time being, it might have saved his life. Since Jenard now reports to Shanti, he went to her with the fresh knowledge before anyone else would have spoken out as soon as they departed. She surprisingly objected to his idea to spread the word through the streets. Shanti is a threat, but it's unclear whether or not she's an intelligent threat. She ought to be more concerned than she is that her engagement with Jenard has caused her people to notice a change in her. But when Raheem brought it up, she didn't appear overly concerned. It's acceptable to be cocky and think you know more than everyone else. That perfectly describes Tommy. But can you support it? Can you really outwit everyone? Because we don't know enough about Shanti to know if she can achieve that, we are at a disadvantage. Can she, in my opinion? Yes, but it still doesn't change the fact that we haven't seen it. Tommy's ability to talk the talk and do the walk has been demonstrated time and time again. But Shanti's methods and motivations have only recently come to light. She is a shrewd and intelligent individual, as working with Claudia demonstrated. She recognized an opportunity for herself and seized it without hesitation. But the reason she ultimately told Jenard made me question whether Raheem was correct about her slipping. Although Shanti owes Claudia nothing, Jenard didn't need to be involved in her business. He is not do anything she is working for and something he has previously declined, so she might have kept earning her money and left him to fend for himself. Even though she made a bad choice there, she was right to thwart Jenard's scheme to reveal Tommy and Mireya. Tommy, Shanti, I'll be 100 with you. Even though it meant that Jenard was reduced to the rank of a corner boy, I know you remained by your kid. But don't consider that garbage a defeat. Loyalty is a virtue in my eyes. I give that garbage a prize. Every day, I'm able to respect that, Shanti. Within a few hours, Tommy learns of this news as it begins to circulate, allowing him plenty of time to formulate a plan and cover his licks somehow. However, given how simple it was for Jenard to learn about the pair, chances are good that someone else will as well. And Jenard won't be affected by any of the consequences. Miguel nearly captured them earlier that day, it's a fact. And you could tell that, at the very least, he had every reason to be wary of Tommy. While privately dating his sister, Tommy is actively working to ruin the man's entire business. And the man is completely unaware of this. The same disease that afflicts Tommy and Shanti affects a great number of characters in the Power universe. They fail to break free of their own habits because they believe they are so very brilliant. Miguel was informed by Abuela, who was seated across from him, that Tommy was coming for him. I might add that Miguel shrugged it off in a condescending manner, all the while appearing to have some perfect strategy in place. I don't know what Miguel does all day, but it's surely not keeping an eye on Chicago. Miguel honestly hasn't known how Tommy and Diamond have gotten away with half the things they did without his knowing. Miguel's real disbelief was evident when Tommy and Diamond revealed how many areas they now control. Even so, he remained unconcerned about how he would fit in if they had control of the entire city. It was not his initiative to expel the Serbs. Despite the fact that he made a smart move, he ought to be aware of the fact that all of these actions benefit Tommy at least as much as they benefit him. Miguel has a noble ambition. He wants to be the only connect in the city. However, CBI is preparing to take control of the entire city. Why would Tommy be happy to put in all that effort to still be behind Miguel when he is set to gain control over every gang in town? Miguel doesn't notice it, even though it doesn't make logic. He may realize that Tommy has already passed him and that DSD has joined forces with Tommy if he learns that the latter has done the same. Tommy and Miguel are preparing for a confrontation, which will intensify after Miguel learns what Tommy is up to. This season, Miguel has not left me in the least bit impressed. He hasn't exactly been the scariest of villains, aside from freezing that man's hand off during Power Book IV, 4th Season 2 Episode 3, but a lot of it has to do with his being so out of the loop. I anticipate that when the light bulb eventually turns on, things will go from bad to worse for Tommy and company. People overvaluing themselves and undervaluing one another was the true subject of this hour. On the other hand of all this, Tommy was acting as though he'd already won something while being careless with the Mireya romance and literally driving all over city with a snitch. Tommy Egan despises snitches more than anything else. Nobody is more aware of this than Tony Terrace. He's been so badly treated in the past that he spends half the time being a paranoid wreck. As much as I'm sure he'd like to, he can never really trust anyone. Even if he never seemed to be completely certain about Vic, the fact that he saw the FEDs pursuing the pair of them together had to make him uncomfortable. After parting with Vic and seeing that recognizable automobile again,